We cannot keep J.J. McCarthy out of our mouths because he's the Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback. And even when he's injured, he is still the sexiest talking point on the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell went to the podium and answered questions about Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback Kevin what? Give me a second here. J.J. McCarthy. I almost said Minnesota Vikings rookie quarterback Kevin O'Connell, like that makes any sense. Anyway.
You kidding me?
This is what he had to say about Minnesota Vikings rookie J.J. McCarthy. He said, end quote, "He's doing great. He's doing great. He's kind of through the early part of that rehab where we want to make sure it's 24/7 what we need to be doing early on from a medical standpoint. Now he's kind of to the point where he's back in meetings right alongside Sam and the other quarterbacks every single day. I would just say there's some of the things that we've talked about from an intangible standpoint of what he brings to our building. I'm challenging him on a daily basis to continue that." Kevin O'Connell talked about being this being a lot of valuable time ahead of J.J. McCarthy. Now, there's a couple of ways to look at this J.J. McCarthy injury. There's one way of looking at it, like, even though he's hurt, he is still going to be learning a lot, just like any backup quarterback would be from the sidelines. Just like any first-round rookie quarterback, like Drake May for the New England Patriots, can still be learning from the sidelines in the quarterback room with Sam Darnold, with Nick Mullins, with head coach Kevin O'Connell, who was a former quarterback in the NFL. The learning process doesn't stop for J.J. McCarthy just because he's injured. There are so many things that you can learn when you aren't on the field, like how to read a defense, timing, understanding plays, getting terminology down, understanding the way wide receivers run routes, understanding different things and different details in the Minnesota Vikings offense and in other teams' defense too. Like, he can still learn and he can still study these things. The story is that J.J. McCarthy and his rehab is going phenomenal, and that's quite obvious. What they aren't going to tell you is that it's going bad and it's slower than expected and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. They're never going to say something like that. Of course they're going to say it's going great. So that's not really a story. And it's not really a story either that he's involved in the quarterback meetings and he's involved in the quarterback room. That is obvious. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it that J.J. McCarthy is going to have his ass in that quarterback room. And it's clear as day. J.J. McCarthy loves football. He lives, breathes, and dies football. And it's been clear and obvious since he was well known at the University of Michigan that this is what he does. He loves football, and he's going to be on the football field, regardless of his injury or not. He is going to be in that meeting room. I said football field, but I meant meeting room. He's going to be a part of the organization. He cares and loves the sport a lot. So J.J. McCarthy is going to be in the meeting room. Now, the bad part of his injury, and there are bad parts, there's reports that he could have played earlier on in the season than anyone expected, especially after the week 1 performance in preseason versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Even though it was just a preseason game, he played really well. The negative part about his injury is that, even though he's watching from the sidelines and getting valuable information and understanding the offense and details and things like that, the speed, you can learn those things, but he's not getting the practice reps that he would be getting, like Drake May is getting with the Patriots, because he's injured. And that's quite obvious. But I think the positive part about this report is that, there's certain things in life that you learn and you don't even realize you learned it. Like, I was typing an email earlier today and I just had this random Minnesota Tim thought. This Minnesota Tim thought of like, wow, when did I learn how to type sentences? All of a sudden you just learn how to type words and learn how to spell words and learn when to put a comma and when to put a period and when to put a capital letter. It's like, I don't remember when I learned that stuff. I couldn't point to a single day or time or week or whatever when I learned these things, but I learned these things. And it's the same thing with J.J. McCarthy. There's going to be things that he learns while he's injured and unavailable to play, but still available in the quarterback room and available in the meetings and still watching the Minnesota Vikings offense perform. There's going to be things that he learns this year that he is going to use for the rest of his career. Now, he's not going to be able to pinpoint and say, you know what, I learned that my rookie season. I'm this way because I learned it my rookie season. But there are going to be things that he learns this year from his rookie season that he's going to use for the rest of his NFL career. So there are positives that we can take away from J.J. McCarthy's injury, even though it's a heartbreaking situation. Now, there was an interesting athletic piece written by Jeff Jeff Howe, Howe. He wrote last week, and this is the kind of garbage that you get at this point of the time when there's nothing to lose. You know, sometimes you see people come out with these articles or come out with these pieces when there's really nothing to lose. He says, prior to the injury, rival coaches and executives debated whether the Michigan product would have had the best season among the 6 first-round rookie quarterbacks. Of course, he's not the one writing that. He's the one reporting it. But this kind of stuff doesn't get reported unless an injury like this happens. Because now J.J. McCarthy can't prove them right or wrong. It's just a statement, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's a statement that people get excited about. It's a statement that's like, oh my gosh, if he did get hurt, he would have been the best first-round rookie class, even ahead of Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and all this stuff. It's like, no. You think these guys are going to say that if J.J. McCarthy never got hurt? Absolutely not, because now they got nothing to lose. He can't prove that he would be better than those guys. So I'm just going to go out and say whatever because I can't be wrong. So, you know, it was an article written on VikingsTerritory.com, and they're just sharing the piece, and it's an exciting thing to read. But it's one of those things that only gets written during a specific time. It's one of those things that only gets reported during a specific time. And that specific time is this: when the executives and the coaches can't be proven wrong. You know, if you sat up here and asked the same executives and coaches before J.J. McCarthy got hurt which quarterback would have the best season, they're going to say Caleb Williams. They're going to say that guy because he's got the most talent. He's got a great team around him. He's the number 1 overall pick. And that's not controversial. But saying J.J. McCarthy is going to have a better season than Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Drake May and Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, now it's a little controversial if J.J. McCarthy is healthy. It's one of those things that only get reported during specific times. And right now is that specific time. But the Minnesota Vikings open the season in just a few days against the New York Giants, and I will have a preview podcast coming out soon detailing the game, the details, my prediction. Thinking about T-Pain and Rocky. Prediction? Yes, prediction. Pain. So, all of those things will be coming soon from the pod. Hit that subscribe button right there and tell your friends.